Welcome to the Health Conscious Living Podcast. I'm Dr. Gayle Myers. Today's episode is Healing Happens in Chapters, tapping into your wellspring of resilience. At different times in our lives, we're challenged with sudden events, life changes, trauma, an accident, serious illness, loss of a loved one, loss of a relationship, or a job or business, or a pandemic. We're thrown out of life as we've known it and catapulted onto a new landscape that is unfamiliar and uncertain. It usually is frightening and challenges us and our ability to survive and tap into our inherent resilience, giving us the opportunity to grow beyond the confines of where we were before the trauma. Once again, we're reminded that we are spiritual beings having a human experience to learn, grow, and gain wisdom. We have these amazing bodies, but we're not defined by our body's condition, or our experiences. But when we're faced with a sudden loss or a major life change, a life-threatening illness or injury, a natural catastrophe, or a pandemic, we go into immediate survival response and begin to problem solve in the moment. You see, the indomitable human spirit is immensely capable, creative, and resilient. Although it may not seem like it in the moment, the challenges we face or have faced in our lives are opportunities to tap into our inner wisdom, heal, grow, gain wisdom, and live into a greater version of ourselves. Spirit is whole, undivided. When we say hello to ourselves as spiritual beings, we're saying hello to our wholeness. And when we say hello to our wholeness, it's the hello that heals. As spiritual beings having a human experience with these amazing bodies that are designed to be healthy, but as you're aware, we have to take care of these dear bodies that have needs that are specific to our biology, our age, our current health conditions and environmental conditions, such as during the pandemic or a natural disaster like an earthquake, fire, or hurricane. As we live our lives going about our day-to-day, we may have lifestyle health habits that support our best health, or some which are not supportive and that we know we need to change, but just haven't gotten around to it, like getting enough sleep and rest, eating foods that are anti-inflammatory and support our immunity, staying well hydrated, doing movement and exercise that give us strength and energy, staying connected to our social community. We'll get into that more in the lifestyle health habits episodes. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, we fall, get sick, are in an accident, lose someone we love dearly, or are faced with a deep loss, and we're in a new landscape, like waking up in a foreign country where we don't speak the language, know the customs, or how to ask for help or directions. The first thing we do in the moment we realize we've survived is we go into that new landscape and take the next step to stay alive in the moment and begin to tap into our resilience, our ability to adjust, to change, to overcome challenges, recover, and emerge stronger. As humans, we're designed to survive. It's in our DNA. In recent times, we've all faced this constant barrage of trauma, change, and uncertainty in a multitude of ways. And if you're listening to this, take a moment and appreciate that you are here because you're so capable and resilient. We do survive, but we can be traumatized physically, mentally, and emotionally. The body holds the memory physically, just as we hold memories mentally and emotionally. As a healthcare provider, I was trained to override what was happening in the moment to care for patients and then deal with the emotional effects later. But there wasn't a lot of training for that part, just to keep going to the next patient, to what needed attention next, and deal with it later. but later has a tendency to build up to overload, which can lead to burnout and illness. Whether you're a healthcare provider, a first responder, a parent, or a witness in an accident, or caring for someone who is sick, the first thing you do is go into action to save lives. Do what is necessary in the moment to keep everyone safe and alive. Once the initial trauma has happened and we have survived, the healing begins. The healing journey has its own timeline that can't be rushed, and it's important to give yourself the space and time you need that is unique for you. Healing happens in chapters, one leading to the next. Chapters can't be skipped. And at the end of the journey, looking back, each chapter will make sense. Chapter 1, surviving. Surviving the trauma, the diagnosis, the loss. You make it through that moment, that initial part. You begin to cope as best you can. You have to take care of where you are in that moment. And you do what you have to in the condition you're in to stabilize and know that you are safe. You're faced with lots of decisions, and choices that you make will change the outcome of your healing journey and life. When you tap into spirit within, your inner wisdom, that wise part of you, you tap into your wholeness. Spirit is whole, undivided. When you say hello to spirit within, you access your wholeness that begins to guide you toward healing and restoration physically, mentally, and emotionally. And in chapter 1, as you begin to heal, this is the time to be gentle and loving with yourself or your loved one starting the healing journey. This is the time to have compassion, especially for yourself, which begins to create a safe space and let your body know that you're in this together. It's from love we heal. There's no greater power than love. Love understands, love nurtures, love is compassionate, kind, encouraging, and uplifting. The body responds to love, especially from you. Think of a time when you were thirsty and drank that refreshing glass of water, or were really exhausted and slept deeply, waking up rested and energized, or when you were sick as a child and your loving parent sat by your bed and gave you chicken soup to help you heal that cold. Because we're designed to be healthy and our inherent instinct is to survive, the body goes into immediate action to heal on a cellular level. The body goes into immediate action to heal on a cellular level. The body sends healthy cells to the injury sites to rebalance and restore homeostasis. It's the inflammatory phase where you're likely to have pain, bruising, swelling. Then the body proceeds to repair, the reparative phase. Then it remodels and heals through the maturation phase where your wounds close and the body completes its process of wound healing so the tissue can resume its function as best it can. These stages of wound healing have their own timeline. Depending on the severity of the injury, the trauma, your age, health, condition, and lifestyle health habits before the injury, illness, trauma, or surgery. The body has its own needs that, when honored, expedites the healing process. In that initial phase, for me, after the accident, I refer to the obsidian tunnel. I was home and had no idea how to cope. I had to tap into my inner wisdom and access resilience. What I began to do was place my hands on my heart and say, I love you, body. What do you need right now? Then listen to the answer and follow through with what my body needed. This was a big sea change since I had learned to override my body's needs during my medical training. When you gently ask your body what it needs, the body responds, usually in one-word answers: rest, sleep, quiet, sunlight, water, gentle movement, the touch of a loved one. I discovered when I immediately gave my body what it needed, it began to trust me and respond in less pain, more energy, more faith that we were a team. When you respond to your body's needs as best you can in the moment, the body begins to trust you. Sometimes it's not possible to immediately give your body what it needs because you're driving or you're in the middle of a meeting or an appointment and you can't drop what you're doing. Tell your body as soon as you can, you'll give it what it needs. The trust deepens as your body knows you will take care of it and it can heal. It was in chapter 1 of my healing journey, I realized the grounding tool I spoke about in a previous episode was essential for me to stay present and keep shifting the energy I was releasing from the trauma. The more I imaged the grounding tool, I began to transmute the energy of the trauma itself, the fear, the pain, the physical pain of overwhelm, uncertainty, and unknown. Then the Golden Sun tool to replenish with the qualities of energy I needed in that moment, such as love and self-love, healing, calm, clarity, nurturing, and wellness. The gentler I moved through phase 1, the easier it was to establish the healing relationship with my body, and I began to progress in my healing journey. If you find yourself in phase 1, whether from an injury, trauma, illness, or supporting a loved one, by tapping into your inner wisdom, your wholeness, and communicating in love to your body, giving it what it needs to heal in this moment, notice what begins to change. Mentally giving yourself reassurance that you're healing helps shift your mindset toward a better outcome. Being in the moment, staying present to what brings you calm and not dwelling on what has passed helps you to move toward your next step in problem solving. Emotionally, being aware of what is a natural response to the shock of what you're going through and comforting yourself, a new relationship starts to emerge. As you give yourself what you need physically, mentally, emotionally, as you heal through this first part, you get stronger each day and better incrementally. This is a very important time to not go into the shoulda, woulda, coulda hamster wheel, trying to second guess what you should or could have done differently. Ties up your mental and emotional bandwidth. While I was still in the emergency room, I spoke with my husband about the what if. What if I had run that errand sooner? I would have been driving at a different time of day, not when I was on the highway at the time the accident occurred. As a decorated Vietnam veteran and wise man, my husband looked at me, shaking his head, and said, "Don't go there." Every time I approached a shoulda, coulda, woulda thought, I'd stop myself and focus on what I needed to do and what I could do in the moment that was healing. It was in chapter 1 of my healing journey that I began to stay focused on the path before me. I knew if I was going to heal, I had to focus on the road ahead, not drive down the road looking in the rear view mirror. If you're in chapter 1 of your healing journey, no shoulda, coulda, woulda are not lanes you want to be in. Stay focused on the road ahead and on your next step of your healing journey and progress in your recovery. If you've passed phase 1, you can still apply these tools and tap into your inner wisdom for guidance as you need it today. Maybe there's a problem you're trying to solve or a new change you're making in your life. Focus on what you can do right now in this moment. Notice what you need physically, mentally, emotionally to take your next step toward a positive outcome. Chapter 2, letting go of the past and being present in the moment. Forgiveness. Most people try to rush through this phase as fast as possible. They're in the healing process and just want it to be over. They want to go back to where they were before the accident, trauma, event, or loss, back to what is familiar. But you can't go back because now you're in this moment and you're different than you were before the trauma. If you try to hold on to where you were before the trauma, you can't get to where you're going. Remember, you were catapulted into a transformational process. As you tap into your inner light, your inner wisdom, your resilience, your ability to cope and overcome, you emerge stronger. As Albert Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. You have to have a higher, greater perspective to see the solution. Remember that there's no greater power than love. And one aspect of love is forgiveness. Forgiveness is letting go, releasing, to give you a new lease on life. It's in letting go that you are healed. Forgiving is releasing. By becoming aware, forgiving, you heal. When you forgive, you give yourself permission to transmute the hurt and pain and make peace within yourself. It doesn't condone what happened. Instead, it frees you to be present to yourself in your wholeness. Forgiveness frees you to move on. Forgiveness is letting go and releasing what has already happened or decisions that you made in the past. We can't change what happened to us, but we can change our relationship to it. Others remain accountable. When you forgive and give yourself the space and the freedom to move forward and focus on your healing and well-being, holding on to the past, especially holding on to grudges, weighs you down. Like carrying rocks in your backpack, it gets harder to take those steps forward, being weighed down by the past. By letting go, dropping each of those rocks, sometimes boulders, you transmute the past and you lighten your load. Better yet, drop the entire pack. Not being weighed down by the past, you give yourself more space and time to move on and heal. It's easier to heal releasing the past and stepping into present time. In the episode on spiritual health, I talked about how we hold memories as mental image pictures, which are re-stimulated by what is happening in present time that reminds us of those memories. This is another place the grounding tool and releasing are very effective. By seeing the memory or even a part of it as energy in a colored ball of light and releasing it down the grounding cord, it is transmuted and changes form. Others get their energy back as a healing, and you get your creative energy back to create something new. By transmuting the memory, you change the frequency, so your relationship to it changes. You have more neutrality. Since we can't change the past because it's already happened, we can forgive, release, drop it, transmute the memory, and be more neutral. Neutrality frees us to have a new perspective that is not influenced by the past, but a perspective filled with possibilities, next steps, and even deeper healing. We can reset with the Golden Sun tool and reset with the energy qualities of wellness and well-being, like love, self-love, peace, joy, wisdom, all support healing, recovery, and wellness. In this phase of the healing journey, your body responds on a cellular level to your outlook and mindset. For 9 months after the accident, I had a bruise in my left groin where the seat belt and shoulder harness held me in place during the 105-mile-an-hour collision. I had a nerve injury down my left leg. I was 1.5 years into my 5-year healing journey during a physical therapy session when my therapist asked me, "What did you just do? Your left hip just released." I responded, "I released the picture of the moment of the impact." Being familiar with the intuitive meditation tools, she understood. We both paused for a moment of realization. the power of releasing the memory and the body's response to healing. Research shows that forgiveness lowers cortisol, the fight or flight hormone, and helps you heal. Releasing anger, hurt, resentment, stressful memories, and emotional pain helps you heal and has been shown to lower anxiety and depression, improve sleep, reduce pain, and strengthen your immune system. Take a moment and pause where you are and imagine what your life would look like without the weight of the past, without the limiting thoughts or beliefs that slow down your healing. Take a deep breath and begin to release what you need to let go of in this moment that frees you to take your next step on your healing journey. Perhaps you're physically doing well, but you want to make a change in your life for a better outlook or motivation toward a goal in your career, family relationships, or finances. Take a moment and reflect on where you are now and where you would like to be and how you would feel when you accomplish your new goal. See what past limiting thoughts, beliefs, or behaviors are keeping you from moving forward. Do you really need to hold on to them? Probably not. Just being aware is part of creating forward momentum. The next step is releasing the limitation or limiting behavior, like if you don't stay up late so you get the sleep you need. As you travel through chapter 2, you gain perspective and begin to build momentum in your healing journey. Chapter 3, gaining a positive perspective and gratitude for healing, transformation and trust in your inner guidance. Each day brings a new opportunity to heal and grow. In time, you get stronger and more at peace along the journey. Each day is a gift to heal, to learn, to take the next step in your recovery and reach your wellness goal. By appreciating and celebrating each step along the way, no matter how small it is, your body heals, gets stronger, and more recovered. In chapter 3, an invaluable asset is patience, giving the body the time it needs to heal, not trying to rush it along, and validating your ability to heal. In this chapter, you need to be your biggest cheerleader and surround yourself with supportive, positive people who hold your vision of health and recovery. It was in chapter 3 that I met some of my biggest mental challenges. When one particular patient, every time she would see me, would say, "You haven't recovered yet?" I would answer, "Every day is a step closer to recovery. I will get there." Although there are studies and data of timelines for recovery which are useful, the healing process is unique for each of us. As you hold the vision of your recovery, remember the body receives that message and moves toward recovery with each step, which is why it is so important to celebrate your wins and acknowledge the changes. As you hold the vision of your wellness and recovery, you'll see incremental progress and milestones where you realize you have less pain, more mobility, better sleep, you have more energy, and you function at a higher level than you have been. This is the chapter where it's easy to keep pushing harder. And it's a fine line between moving forward, thinking you can take that longer walk or go visit friends or work for an hour longer, being aware of your previous limits and testing your stamina or strength a little more is great. But the key is knowing that fine line between what's okay and what's too much. Then stopping and resting so your body can recover and gain strength again. Setbacks can happen. The road to recovery usually isn't linear. It's learning what works at one stage and incrementally taking the next step in your recovery. I had multiple setbacks along my 5-year recovery journey, especially in the first 2 years. Like the kid who did the cannonball directly behind me when I was doing my pool PT, causing me to hyperextend the injured ligaments throughout my body. Or when I caught a bad cold and it turned into bronchitis while my entire rib cage was trying to repair, or when I did a little too much exhausting myself. One day, my physical therapist said to me, Gayle, setbacks aren't always setbacks. After the setbacks, I would inevitably get stronger by taking more time and giving my body what it needed. I realized that what appeared as a setback was really an opportunity to pause and redirect with more strength and wisdom for a better outcome. Keeping a positive mindset and telling your body and telling yourself, I can heal, sends chemical messages to your body, increasing feel good hormones, dopamine and serotonin. Keeping a positive mindset and saying to yourself, I can heal, helps to rewire the brain or neuroplasticity. It sends a message to your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters what's important. When your reticular activating system looks for ways you can heal, improve, and progress, so you can keep an eye out for what opportunities present themselves to support healing. The more you honor your body's ability to heal by giving it love and appreciation with the time, rest, nutrition, hydration, movement, and the strengthening it needs, the more you progress toward your recovery and wellness goals. That is a pearl of wisdom for any time, during or being fully recovered. Take a moment and appreciate the health that you have right now and ask your body what it needs in this moment. And you might be surprised at the answer. Now tap into your inner wisdom. What is best for you to honor your body's needs or give yourself a mental break from the stressors of life to refresh yourself? Chapter 4, Celebrating Your Health and Wellness. How many ways can you celebrate your health and wellness in a healthy way? Tapping into your inner wisdom for answers and asking your body what it needs will be specific for you in the moment, the day, the work, or social situation you find yourself in. And remember to do the best you can in that moment for that situation. You may not be able to drop everything and take a nap or take a walk, but you can close your eyes for a few minutes and gently breathe and relax your muscles. You can use the Golden Sun tool and fill yourself with the quality of energy you need in that moment, like self-love, calm, peace, more energy or clarity. Whatever quality of energy you need, just give it to yourself and your body and gently breathe and reset so you can continue until you can get out for fresh air or take that walk or rest. Tapping into your inner wisdom helps you access your well-being and guidance that keeps you moving in wellness. It's in chapter 4 that you get to celebrate each of your wins and how far you've come. Chapter 5, Wisdom Gained. That famous quote from Steve Jobs in 2005. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. As you progress along your path, learning, healing, gaining a greater perspective, you see how you were transformed through your healing process into a new version of yourself. It isn't just about recovering from an illness or injury. Perhaps it's a divorce or loss of a loved one or loss of a job or business, or you just got nudged way out of your comfort zone to accomplish a creative project. It's only looking backwards that this will all make sense, and you see a greater purpose in each of those steps, in what you learned along the way, and how you can use the wisdom you gained to live the greater version of yourself and share your gifts. Recently, I just passed the 12-year anniversary of the accident. With deep gratitude for being alive, I thanked each person I saw that day for being in my life now. I shared with them that if I were to go back and talk to my injured self lying on the gurney in the emergency room, I would reassure her it was all going to be okay. She would fully recover, and I would tell her, don't worry, in 12 years, you'll be hosting a podcast. And she would look at me and say, what's a podcast? Wherever you are listening to this, take a moment and love yourself today and through the chapters of your journey. If there was a chapter you missed, you can heal it now by tapping into your inner light, recognizing your wholeness, your resilience, and the gift you are in this world.